One thing about life is it's definitely going to life. I realized that in the last 3 weeks as everything seemed to come to a head, like deadlines, school, my children, family circumstances, personal goals that I've wanted to reach and written down. I was reminded in a writing that I wrote 3 months ago, in making sure that even if the goal is not met by said time, that it's okay. It's okay. I am a recovering perfectionist. My I's have to be dotted and my T's have to be crossed. And that's just always how it has been. But that writing reminded me that sometimes I'm not in control, and it's okay if I lost control, because I can still get back on the vehicle and ride to the destination just as long as I don't quit. And I wanted to extend those words to you because I feel it's important for each and every one of us. Sometimes things just pile up and it's okay. Allow it to do what it does and know that you still have time, space, and opportunity to get those things completed. I shared on social media, Instagram and TikTok, spiritual gifts, and I want to go into that for this episode. I think it's very important for many reasons. Those who've not experienced what it is to walk into this place of spiritual heightenedness based on intuition and discernment won't really get it. I know and feel that all of us have the gift of intuition and discernment. We all do. We all have the gift. It is not a superhuman or super powered thing, but I will say that when you have a connection, and here's the thing, okay, I'm just going to use it for my personal example because I understand that many people believe in many different things, and that's okay. Listen, this is a cohesive place where we can all be ourselves. One thing that I realized for me is that my relationship with God really heightened intuition and discernment when it came to situations, people, and things. When I get that itchy, uncomfortable feeling in my gut, I might get headaches. Something just might be off. I always lead it with this: Lord, show me what it is that you want me to see, what you want me to find out. Because I'm walking in this place that I know, number one, that this conversation that I'm having with God, He already knows me. And secondly, because He knows me, He knows how emotional I can get based on things that I find out later. So it's like the preventable measure. Lord, just go ahead and show me what it is. I'm prepared. I think many times too, like we want to find out things so bad, but not prepare for the outcome of what we're going to find on the outside of it. The spiritual gift of intuition and discernment, it's something as easy as, like, this is on a mild scale, but not mild in the sense because catastrophe happens and that's major. But it's something like getting ready to go somewhere, whether it's, you got an appointment or you want to go shopping somewhere, whatever the case may be. And for whatever reason, like you can't get yourself together, like you can't find your shoes, that earring, or, whatever that attire is, you finally find it. And then you get a phone call from someone who wants to talk to you in links. And now that has expanded the time in which you thought you was going to leave, right? And so when everything is all said and done and you've gotten into your vehicle or, gone to that destination, when you get down the road, you see that there is a massive car accident or a minor. And in that millisecond, you understand that the waiting was the reason. The expansion of everything that was going on before that time was the reason. It could have been you. That is one of those things where, God works it out, or, if you rely on the universe works it out for your own good. On a major scale, it could be something, you may be in a relationship with someone, and the differences in the way in which they're acting makes you feel a little uneasy. You feel they may be a little secretive. You feel that some of the things that they're saying are not aligned, that they're not being absolutely honest. You don't know where that's coming from, but something in your spirit makes you feel uneasy. You may get a headache. You may get this sense in your stomach where your stomach begins to turn. You may become anxious and nervous, and that is your body speaking to you and saying that something is not right. The energy field in that area in which you and that person it's not aligned and it's not right. And these are the things that we need to pay attention to. Again, all of us have it. It is just many of us like to ignore it. Or maybe we don't know what those feelings are coming from, so we're not aligned with that feeling. Many times after in my life with having these feelings, and I've had them ever since I was young. I think in an episode I shared with you guys how things would always show up to me as a child, and this reluctance to be near people. If the energy, of course I didn't know then it was, defined as energy, but I just didn't feel right around certain people. And I just always got the nervousness. I always felt uneasy. So even in my adulthood, I would feel it, but it was exasperated by minor headaches, or I would get ringing in my ears, or the anxiousness. The body has cues that it gives us. And when we pair it with our belief in God or the universe, whatever it is that you believe in, I'm not here to knock anyone. When you pair it with your belief, mine is God who speaks, you are more in tune with what it is that He is trying to show you. Sometimes there are people who come with beautiful smiles and warm hearts, it seems, and you may drop the element of your protection a little bit, only to realize and see and feel the nervousness outside of it, the anxiousness, the slight headache that you may get from another person. Maybe it is that you are planning a trip, and everything about planning that trip is just awful. You can't get the time of the flight right, in which you want to coincide with the hotel stay and the places and activities you want to do within that place. Maybe it is that it's a group of people and y'all all want to go on a trip and somebody's being funny, and like the signs are always there. Many of us just ignore it and keep going. But I always feel like in the beginning, when things are just stonewalling and it's pushing aside, there is a sign that something is not right, and maybe we need to investigate a little further. You'll always know when you tap into that spiritual gift, when whatever you've seen or whatever you felt has a result based on the initial thing that you felt. For example, someone shared with me yesterday, they sent me an email after they seen the video that I shared on Instagram about them seeing their boyfriend actively cheating. She kept seeing the reoccurring dreams, and it was like, of course, it's nightmares, but she couldn't put her finger on it because her boyfriend had always done the same thing. Go to work, come home. Like, for her, it was no space for her to think that her boyfriend was doing anything outside of what he normally does. But she kept getting the reoccurring dream. And then all of a sudden, she saw the characteristics of what this woman looked like. Months later, she said she was going to her destination. Something told her to look to her right, and there it was. Him and the woman in which it was defined in her dream by characteristics was the one in which she saw, and she caught her boyfriend up and cheating. It is things like that. Sometimes we're not looking for things, like it just comes, and we have to be in tune with ourselves, our body, and really understand that many times over, that our elements of our body and elements of our mind is not doing it as a hazardous, but it's doing it as a protection. Now, there are moments in which we are getting signals and the signals can be wrong. And I'm going to tell you something. Many times when the signals are wrong, it's based on our emotional feeling at that point. Many times we can think ourselves into detriment, that we think we know what we know with no concrete evidence to back it up. And those are the moments in which you have to take a break and not exercise going after what it is that your emotions are telling you. For example, your significant other could be acting kind of funny with an attitude, right? And the first thing, because you're in your emotions, y'all done had an argument, the first thing you go to, because your heart is sour and your feelings, have been interrupted, you just automatically assume with nothing that they're cheating on you. You're emotionally ridden with some form of wanting to draw conclusions. We can't do that. Listen, we have to listen to our bodies. We have to listen to the feelings. We have to make sure that what we are seeing and feeling and smelling is what it is. I always say, even if you are shown something, wait it out. Don't jump to conclusions too early, because again, sometimes our emotions are wrapped into places and things that may stimulate some form of conclusion. Sometimes it's not what it really is when the emotions are greatly tied into it. When things happen by happenstance, now it's real. You wasn't digging, you wasn't prying. It just automatically showed you what it needed to show. I was reading the comments and many people were talking about even their discernment with and intuition with people. And I talked about the fact that sometimes, we pick up on things with people. They may be in conversation and saying something, and something about what they say doesn't ring true. And we may question just to get clarity, but we're also doing it in a sense of questioning them again, just to see if they're going to be honest with us. And when it is that they repeat what they say, there is a part of us who understands that the reasoning ain't reasoning, and that truthfulness is not really what it is. I'll give you an example. It's the same thing, like I'll use our children. Many of us are parents, so I'll use our children when they say let's just use, for example, they've been gone somewhere, right? They went with friends and they stayed a little too long. And something in your mind says they're not where they say they are, or they're not with who they say they're with. And so when they come back home, you ask, oh, where'd you go? Who were you with? Blah, say, blah, right? And you look and listen for the cues, maybe in the facial expression, maybe in the way that they say certain things when they answer back. And then you ask again. And there's something in the variance of the voice. I always say this, listen, cue into this. I learned this in a psychology class. I learned this in a psychology class, and listen, this has changed my life massively. Listen to what people say, but also look at how they respond with their bodies, and you'll know if they're telling the truth. Many people who tell lies, when the lie is out, if you ask them a question, they say no. If they're heightened in their vocal cords, no. If that goes up, they're lying to you, right? And you have to watch their face, the expression in their face, their body language, if they're resistant while they're saying the no or whatever it is that they're responding back to you. Always correlate the words with the body language. People who tend to lie also tend to cross their arms, to hold back some form of nervousness. They try to show you that they are being stern in the way in which they are sitting or they're standing, but really it's uncomfortableness. Watch that. Many times also people who are not being honest will look to the side. They'll look one way or the other when a question is being asked. They can't look you directly. And there are some people who are so good at lying that they'll look you right in your face and lie. But listen, here's the thing, right? When they try to look too intent in your eyes to make it seem as if they're not lying, they're lying. You have to watch the cues. Everyone gives cues in their honesty and their dishonesty. Once you know a person and how they are, you'll be able to tap into and understand when they're being honest and dishonest with you. Even in situations with people when you first meet them, I think I talked about this in another episode. You walk into a room and you feel that the energy is so low. You may have been approached by someone and you already know, I don't think me and this person would be aligned by the way in which they just are. Something about their being, something about the way that they are is off. We all feel it. I used to think that those type of things were being way too judgmental of other people. But I've learned, even when I thought that I was being too judgmental, it kicked me in the behind later because I knew what I knew and I proceeded anyway. Let that not be you. So when we speak of spiritual gifts, we are tapping into this knowing of ourselves and our bodies. Our bodies reflects what it is that they're trying to repel. If you seem to get this feeling in your stomach where, your stomach feels in a knot, hone into that. That is your body telling you that something is not right. If you tend to get minor headaches, hone into that. Something is telling you that it's not right. If you have dreams, I think dreams are, to me, the most telling. Our body kind of goes into this dormant state, right? When we speak of sleep, it's amazing that the body, the mind will show us so many things. And in these visualizations, you can get confirmation through a dream. So if it is that you're worrying or wondering about something is showing up to you in dreams, keep it where it's at. Like, I'll say this in warning also. Even though something is showed to you in a dream, don't automatically jump to the conclusion and saying, this is what it is. Keep yourselves in line and keep note of what it is that you're seeing. If the dream keeps coming and it keeps re-entering, many times it is telling of something that you need to look out for. Keep that in mind. When you know what you know, you know what you know. And it's really hard to concretely say it because every individual is different. And I know, again, emotions can take place and it could make you feel as if what you're feeling is what it is. Just be very cautious of where your emotions take you when you are relying on intuition and discernment. Many times when you're not looking for things and they come, that is the biggest signal that something is awry. I want to point out again, and I'll reiterate this is not a superpower. Nothing really to boast about, because listen, those who have this heightened spiritual gift will tell you that it definitely comes with the worst of the worst, where there are things that you don't want to see about certain things and certain people that is just given to you in a place of you not looking, you not searching. It will also allow you to see things in people that you so love that can be detrimental to the way in which you love them. And even the awareness that you had before coming to this conclusion, it will kind of hold you bound in a way, because when you have that heightened gift, you seem to walk around with the expectation, in a sense, that you'll get a signal, that you'll get some kind of information given to you about someone, and you get scared, you get afraid that everyone that you'll come in contact with will have something bad. And that's not what it is, but it does happen. On the end of this, I just want you to know, and I want to remind you that we all have the gift of intuition and we all have the gift of discernment, but use it for your good in the sense of protection. And also understand that you can't make it stronger if you don't exercise it. So if it is that you choose to ignore what it is that you see, the feelings that you feel, the smells, I want to go back. Listen, okay, I was almost done, but I want to talk about the smells real quick. I want to talk about smells because smells can repel you from someone. And I don't mean like a person having a stench or an odor, like a readily available stench or odor, maybe somebody being musty or something like that. No, that's not what it is. There is a stench that oh goodness, I don't want to say it like this, but I think this is the only way that I can describe it. There is a spiritual scent that someone will give off where you know that that person is not right. And I really want to dive deep into that, but I want to caution it with not diving deep because it's a personal thing for me. So I can't say that it is the same for somebody else, but there is a spiritual scent that a person may give off that repels you from going forward with that person. So be mindful if you're around a certain someone and you get this smell over and over and over again, and it's making you just repel and back up from them. Take that into consideration because that is something that is trying to tell you to move away for your own good. And the beautiful thing about, having intuition and practicing and understanding discernment is that, again, it is a protection, and there is like this bubble around you that will assist you in your journey. And it also helps just to weed out people who are there to cause you some form of harm or disappointment. I didn't want to make this too long. I feel like I did. Not really, but a little bit. But I just want you to be more cognizant of what the mind, the body is telling you. I want you to be aware that God gives us these gifts for protection, number one, with the understanding that in all characteristics, in all form, we are leaning into Him. But also we have some form of responsibility to watch out and make sure that we are okay in the bodies in which we are, and look out for danger. And for the people who constantly play with people who have spiritual gifts, they're losing out on good people. Because I really believe that many people are intentional about being good and not being bad, but you'll find some bad apples. And that's a disappointment when people want to do bad, just intentionally want to do bad. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for being there. As always, you can tap into my Instagram, seasoned_dialogue. It's the same on TikTok, seasoned_dialogue. You can also tap into the YouTube channel, Seasoned Dialogue. It doesn't have a underscore for that. I'm so glad that, we're here, that I have a tribe of people who are real. I thumb through the emails as well. You are open to send an email if you want to, just to say hey, or if you want to discuss something or want to hear something on the podcast. And I've also have a list of suggestions as well. So I did get y'all suggestions on some topics and I'm working on them. And I'm hoping that, everything is good. Everything is well. You're in good spirits, and somebody out there is treating you good and making you feel so loved. And if not, it's all good. If you're single and you're looking for love, pray on it, or not. If you are content with being single, it's all good too. Just as long as you're loving yourself at the end of the day. All right, that's it for me. I'll see you guys later.